In this video, we'll talk about living a meaningful life. Have you met some people that seem to have it all? They are focused, driven, and committed to certain things that make them the envy of others. You don't have to just wish you were like them. With the right and purposeful step, you can have a stamp of authority on the direction of your life. It all begins with finding something you can live or even die for. This section will do justice to that. Purpose, plan, and pursuit. The three words above define what it means and how to live a meaningful life. Purpose describes your reason for living. It is crucial that you discover the reason for your existence as soon as possible, because it will affect other areas of your life. It is when you know what you want to do with your life that you can know the kind of things you should put in your plans and the kind of things that shouldn't be found there. You're different from other people, and you need to recognize your uniqueness as soon as possible. Once you've recognized your strengths and gifts, the next stage is to create a plan that can help you to maximize them. Your plan is the map that will lead you to your destination. It begins in your head, but it's in your best interest that you don't leave it there. Write it out somewhere. Writing out your plans and targets has many benefits. One of them is that the writing process helps you to retain something more. Also, it will help you to be able to look at the plan and think about it again. Sometimes, due to different reasons, we lose the positive emotions we had when we were drafting a plan over time. It might be that you started feeling that your plans aren't feasible in the light of new realities. Therefore, you need to keep your focus by putting your plans into written form. Checking them will remind you about the reasons the targets were important in the first place. After making your plans, you are ready to pursue your targets. The pursuit of personal happiness. Why should you achieve your targets and feel empty and wasted at the end of the day? So it should be clear before you start pursuing a goal that it will increase your chances of happiness in the long run. Don't assume that you can be happy by reaching a target. Rather, be observant and make your findings. Are the people that have achieved your dreams happy? This is a crucial question you need to answer. It's true that there are some things that increase your chances of having positive emotions. Still, at the end of the day, happiness is a choice. Don't depend on your achievements and the approval of others to be happy. At the time of writing this, Jose Mourinho just got sacked at the Tottenham Football Club 6 days before he was meant to lead the team to play a cup final. It's quite difficult to imagine that he would be a happy man. This is someone that has won the UEFA Champions League 2 times at 2 different clubs, among other collective and individual accolades. His CV ought to have bought him some time, but it didn't for some reason. The system of this world is set up in such a way that you'll have to keep proving yourself all over again. So if you haven't decided to be happy regardless of what comes your way, you'll go through life being grumpy. Prioritizing legacies. Instant gratification feels nice in the short term. However, it can make you lose sight of the long-term benefits you might lose. Instant gratification will not make you start an endeavor with clarity. Your judgment will be clouded by what you stand to enjoy in the short run and make you forget all that you stand to enjoy or lose in the long run. Instead of short-term benefits, you should prioritize the legacies you can establish. It's this desire for instant gratification that makes people commit all sorts of atrocities we see around us. Many individuals go into a business with the aim of cashing out as soon as possible. As a result of their mindset, they are desperate. They don't mind ripping off others of their hard-earned money just to earn quick profits. They don't mind making others sad as long as they've been able to increase their account balance. If you have this approach to life, you'll not be able to see the pitfalls you might fall into because you'll not be meticulous enough to pay attention to detail. Greed can make you stop considering all the dangers that are associated with a deal. So always set out to do things right. Be that entrepreneur that will be a fantastic example of how to achieve financial freedom without losing your soul to future generations, pouring yourself into serving others. Nothing else can make you feel like you're making your life count than when you're serving others with your life. There are many articles and books that have been written in recent times that have focused on self-love. Indeed, these attempts are understandable, especially due to the number of people that are taking their lives all over the world. However, we need to be careful to avoid curing an extreme with another extreme. In the bid to encourage people to value themselves and care for themselves, we might end up promoting selfishness. Our natural tendency as human beings is to be selfish. This is the reason for envy that leads to sabotaging the efforts of others. We all want to be in the spotlight and made to feel that we matter. So we don't need anyone to encourage us as much before we start focusing on ourselves to the detriment of others. Nonetheless, we need a lot of encouragement and motivation to place the needs of others above ourselves. When we eventually do, life becomes more worthwhile and meaningful. We will have more reasons to be happy when we realize that there are many people that have reasons to keep on living because of our sacrifices and efforts. Why should you sacrifice that feeling for personal gains? In this video, we'll talk about practices that can enhance clarity and focus. Indeed, there are experts and counselors you can meet that can help you find a reason to live. Still, you can do it yourself if you have the right information. There are some practices that can help you discover yourself by giving you clarity of thought. Remember that you cannot make quality decisions unless you address your thought pattern. The practices below will strip you of sentiments and emotions, which will enhance your clarity and focus. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is a simple but effective tool that can enhance your clarity and focus in tremendous ways. In fact, it's the easiest of all the 5 practices listed in this chapter. All you need to do to practice mindfulness is to focus on whatever you're doing without allowing something else to take away your attention. When you are eating and watching TV at the same time, you are not practicing mindfulness. You should either choose to eat and enjoy the meal to the fullest, or focus on the TV show and make the best out of it. The human mind isn't designed to focus on 2 things at the same time, unlike a video camera. A video camera can capture many things happening at the same time. You can rewind it and focus on whatever aspect of the event is important to you. If you try that as a human being, you'll not get the best out of anything. One of the reasons people set vague goals that aren't feasible is that they were distracted while thinking about the targets. Practice mindfulness to train your mind to focus on the task ahead. This approach will help you to set attainable goals and give you the focus to achieve them. Meditation. Meditation is similar to mindfulness because they are trying to achieve the same target. However, they aren't the same. There are 2 main types of meditation, guided and unguided. Guided meditation involves finding an expert that can help you to practice. You might call the trainer to come to your house, or you might go to a class where you can be taught. Still, the training doesn't have to be with a physical trainer. You can also leverage podcasts and other means that involve listening to audio classes that can help you practice effectively. On the other hand, unguided meditation doesn't require the help of an expert. In this type, you will have to find the type of meditation that works for you and stick with it. This approach isn't recommended for beginners because it involves a lot of experimentation, which might be time-wasting. Unguided meditation is of different types. It might be in the form of a body scan, loving kindness, and other kinds. If you get a good grasp of the practice and invest time into training, you will be glad you did. Scientists and the testimony of some celebrities have proven that meditation has numerous benefits, including enhanced focus. Yoga. According to experts, yoga is a practice that leads to the union of individual consciousness with universal consciousness. In other words, it's a practice that brings perfect harmony to the mind and body. You need your mind to be in tranquility and your body to be free of stress to make the right decisions. So it's a no-brainer to inculcate yoga into your daily or weekly schedule, depending on how busy you are. There is no doubt that this practice will enhance your clarity and focus. Still, it does more than that. Other benefits of practicing yoga include back pain relief, improvement of strength, balance, and flexibility. It has also been proven to be able to help against the symptoms of arthritis. It boasts heart health and helps you to relax so that you will be able to sleep better. The people that practice yoga regularly have also been reported to have more energy and have better moods. So apart from the fact that you want to practice it to help you keep your focus, there are also other numerous benefits you can enjoy by practicing yoga daily. Regular planning. Everyone has a plan whether they realize it or not. Even when you have decided not to plan, you are planning to fail. So the place of planning and starting with clarity cannot be overemphasized. Planning is not a once-and-for-all activity. It is a culture you should have. In fact, you should not step into a day without a plan. Time invested in planning isn't wasted. Rather, it's invested to help you make quality decisions at different parts of the day. What are those things you want to achieve for the day? Take a sheet of paper and list them out. You can also use your smartphone for this exercise. The best way to make the planning effective is to list out the things you want to achieve in order of urgency. Once you are done planning, set out to start doing what you have planned as soon as possible. If you are using a sheet of paper, tick each task after you have completed it. The positive feeling you derive from completing your task one after the other as the day comes to an end will give you positive vibes. If you live your life like this every day, it'll be difficult for you to have a bad day. Journaling. Journaling is a culture of documenting your thoughts and plans. It's an effective planning technique that can give you clarity and help you to eliminate uncertainty. Instead of using a sheet of paper to plan every day, you can leverage a journal. This approach is more coordinated and will help you to track your progress. It can help you evaluate your effectiveness and efficiency at the end of the week, month, or year. Journaling can help you know how many tasks you planned and how many of them you were able to complete at the end of the particular period. It can spur you to work harder if you've not been hitting your targets. It can also make you feel good about yourself, especially when you discover that you've been achieving your goals. Anything that will help you to fight off distractions is a welcome reprieve in a world where it is increasingly difficult to keep one's focus. So practicing journaling is a sensible decision because it will help you in this regard. In this video, we'll discover about how to reclaim clarity and focus. Has there been a time in your life that you knew the direction you were headed in life until something happened? This is a reality many people face in the world today. Some shocking and devastating events can occur that can make it look as though your world is crashing. Sometimes you are at fault, while in some cases, it has nothing to do with you. Either way, you can still get back to what you used to be. The tips in this chapter will help you in that regard. Forgive yourself. The first thing you need to do after you discover that you have lost focus is to let go of the past. It begins by forgiving yourself. It's natural that you feel bad about yourself and regret making the wrong decisions. However, you'll not gain anything from incessantly reprimanding yourself about the mistakes you have made in the past. You cannot make progress and reclaim clarity when you keep thinking about what could have been. You cannot bring back the past again. It's gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's in your best interest to forget about it. Focus on the future. You aren't the first person to make the mistake you made. If you aren't convinced, search online. You will realize that there are many individuals that have even committed worse errors, yet they were able to retrace their steps and make the best out of their lives. Therefore, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Don't convince yourself that your mistake is the worst in the history of human beings because it isn't true. You slipped, of course, it isn't the ideal situation. Still, the best part of your life can be ahead of you if you choose to stand up. Identify where you missed it. After forgiving yourself, the next stage is to recognize where you failed. If you don't do a proper evaluation and analysis of your past mistakes, you'll keep making the same mistake. Anyone can make a mistake, so you shouldn't make too much out of it if you fail. You shouldn't even be too perturbed when your mistakes happened around the same period. It's possible, however, you should be concerned when you make the same type of mistake. It's a sign that you're not learning from your past failures, which should give you concerns. Where did you miss it? Was it at your workplace or in your relationship? Once you identify the place, start working on making things right again. You should forgive yourself. You might also need to apologize to the people that were hurt by your actions. Let it be clear to them that you didn't want to hurt them but were carried away by your emotions or any other thing. There is no restoration without reconciliation, and reconciliation will be difficult when you're not ready to admit that you were wrong. So don't hesitate to tender your sincere apology to whoever needs it to move on to the next level. Recognize why you got it wrong. The best way to ensure that you don't fall into the same trap again is to analyze why you fell into it in the first place. Was it because you were greedy? Did you trust the person too much when you should have been more cautious? Was it because you didn't do enough findings? Was it because you were impatient? You need to identify what made you fall. Once you recognize the reason you made a mistake, it will be easier to avoid it the next time you find yourself in that kind of situation. It's not good enough to be able to identify where you missed you. You should be able to tell why you made the mistake. You should also be able to tell why you made the mistake. The reason you made the mistake is more important than identifying the fact that you should have done better. When you apologize to the people you've hurt due to your actions, they need more than an apology. They want to be able to tell that you will not hurt them and disappoint them again if they give you another chance. The best way you can show that you've learned your lesson is by telling them what went wrong the last time. Go back to the beginning. Once you have identified where and why you lost clarity and focus, you are ready for the next stage, which is to go back to the way things were before. Retracing your steps will be easier if you practice journaling or any form of documentation. If you have somewhere you wrote your plans and how you intend to achieve them, go back there. Check the things you wrote and remind yourself of the positive emotions you had when you wrote them in the first place. It might not come back immediately, but you'll eventually feel good again as you start doing them all over again. It's not every time that you might need to start all over again. In some cases, you might only need to pick up where you stopped. If you have the opportunity, you should be grateful and should give it your best. Don't be under too much pressure to prove a point because it can be your undoing. Rather, be determined to stay on track. It's not every time you'll get a second chance. If life offers you one, grab the opportunity with both hands and make the best out of it. Implement measures of staying on track. Now that you have the opportunity to reclaim clarity and start all over again, what can you do to stay on track? You need to ask yourself this question and provide an answer to it. If you were distracted because you were moving with the wrong set of people, what are the measures you have in place to ensure that such people aren't found around you again? If the wrong influence came through social media, don't hesitate to block negative people and leave the pages that aren't profitable to you. No influence is neutral. It will either improve your life or make it worse. So, you should always evaluate the kind of influence a person or exposure to a particular experience has on your life. It's when you do this that you'll be able to have control over the influences you allow into your life. No one should come into your life without your approval. It isn't being snobbish. Instead, you are just being selective to ensure that you don't have the wrong influences in your life. In this video, we'll talk about keeping your eyes on the ball. It's fantastic to discover yourself, have specific targets, and be motivated to see your dreams come to pass. Still, it is also crucial that you keep moving in the right direction. As a human being, you're prone to distractions, yet you need to do your best to ensure that you keep your eyes on the ball. The hacks in this chapter will be beneficial to you in this regard. Don't overrate yourself. You are a human being, and you should never forget that. Do you know anyone that used to be full of life and focus that messed up? You shouldn't laugh at such people. Instead, their fall should be a lesson to you. It should make you realize that it is possible to drop the ball in the midst of distractions and challenging situations. Don't say what happened to that person can never happen to you. You should have a realistic evaluation of yourself to keep your feet on the ground. When you admit that you can make mistakes, it will help you to keep your focus and stay away from distractions as much as possible. Even Superman is allergic to kryptonite. So don't have a delusion that you cannot lose touch with reality and ruin everything you have worked hard to achieve. If it has happened to someone else, it can happen to you. Always remind yourself that you are not impeccable. The moment you lose sight of that reality, you're already singing your swan song. It'll not take long before an event reminds you of the need to keep your focus. Don't change what works. It's a good attribute when you're open to new experiences and trying something new. Still, you cannot afford to be living your life based on a trial and error approach. You'll be wasting time and energy that way. Besides, you might hurt yourself along the line. Therefore, it's best to stick to an approach that has been yielding results. Don't be intimidated by the success of others who are doing things in a way that is different from yours. It's not every formula and technique that works for others that will work for you. For example, if you discovered that the evening is your peak energy period, then that should be the period you should do most of the tedious work you have. If you have more clarity and engagement during that time, take advantage of it and do the works that require your utmost attention. Don't start doing things in the morning because some people feel that your style is weird. As long as it's working for you, stick with it and neglect the words of every critic. Stay true to yourself. One of the best things that can happen to you is to discover yourself. Discovering yourself implies that you'll have a good grasp of your strengths and weaknesses. It also means that you know the kind of things that suits you. Once you know who you are, stay true to yourself and keep heading in the right direction. There will always be tantalizing new trends that will attract you. Your friends and families will also suggest things that you can do. However, it's critical that you don't lose yourself to please others. You are a human being, so you will make mistakes once in a while. Still, it's better to make mistakes while staying true to yourself than get the right results by pretending that you are who you are not. Remember that every drama and acting will elapse. Don't allow the pressure to meet up with social standards make you start doing things you will regret. Besides, you can only feel comfortable and be at your best when you do things in the ways that suit you as an individual. Once you lose yourself, you have lost it all. Avoid social comparison. Social comparison is one of the major reasons people struggle to live life with clarity. You'll always struggle to find your true north when you have a culture of comparing yourself with other people. It's good to have mentors and people that you are looking forward to emulating. Yet the fact that these individuals achieve their success by following a particular footprint doesn't mean that you will achieve it in the same way. Your uniqueness has to shine through while following a guideline to make the most of your abilities. Moreover, it's not healthy to compare yourself with others. There will always be people that seem to be more successful than you in this world. Don't envy anyone because it will make you look down on yourself. You'll keep asking yourself, is this all I can do with my life? No one should give you a benchmark for success. You should put pressure on yourself to be the best version of yourself. Still, you need to learn to celebrate every progress you make while striving for more. Don't feel that something is wrong with your life because you are yet to hit a particular target. Keep track of your motives. The reason you are doing something is more important than the fact that you are doing it. It is your motive that will determine whether you will be satisfied or regret in the long run. For example, you might decide to start a healthy eating plan and exercise routine to lose weight. Naturally, this is a commendable desire. Still, your motive can ruin how you'll feel about achieving your aim. If you are doing it to get the acceptance and approval of others, you might be disappointed in the long run. The people might praise you initially. However, you might soon discover to your disappointment that it takes more than a great shape to be and stay in the good books of the people around you. The fact that you have an attractive shape doesn't guarantee that your spouse will not cheat on you. It also doesn't mean that people around you will respect you. So ensure that you carry out your goals with the desire to improve the quality of your life. Any other reason is likely to end in regret. Keep the right company. No matter who you are in your approach to life, the kind of people that surround you can make or mar you. If you have the wrong people around you, they will always find fault with you and give you reasons to feel that you are not doing enough. They might put unnecessary pressure on you and make you start living a fake life. Everyone cannot be your friend. You should be able to keep a lid on how people come into your life. The fact that a person is your colleague at work doesn't mean that he or she should be able to tell you anything. In the same way, the fact that an individual lives on your street doesn't mean that you should have a cordial relationship. Ensure that your friends are people that share the same value as you. Don't be afraid to rock a boat and leave a relationship that is affecting you negatively. If you want to keep a clear view of life and stay true to yourself, avoid hanging around the wrong people. It doesn't take long to discover that an individual doesn't have a rudder in life. A person that is living without a direction will be found trying so hard to prove a point every day. Such an individual will have many abandoned projects. He or she will be a jack of all trades but a master of none. He or she will always be prey to trends. When he or she finds out that cryptocurrency is making waves, he or she will invest in it without considering the pros and cons of the decision. When he or she sees a friend doing well due to investment in estate management, he or she will try it too. Indeed, there is nothing wrong with trying new things that can enhance your chances of achieving financial freedom. However, it's a problem when you have a culture of jumping from one career path to the other within a short period. Thankfully, you have learned how to avoid living life this way. You should know what to do now to ensure that you start a day with a clear view of what to do. Indeed, life is full of uncertainties. Still, you'll increase your chances of living a quality and meaningful life when you have clearly defined goals. This journey into self-discovery should have empowered you with all you need to start with clarity all the time. Take more responsibility for your life and watch yourself blossom into that man or woman of your dream.